Okay, welcome everybody to the March 2024 meeting of EGPOA's Board of Directors. I'm Patrick Cannell, President of the Board. We have myself, Earl Silas, and I think Tom Gans are online today. Chris won't be joining us, and Beverly is unable to join us. So in Chris's place, Alana has graciously agreed to take the notes. So I guess first would be the pledge, and then we'll take it from there.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Looking to see if we can beat our record from last month for a quick and efficient meeting. Ilana, will you take the roll?
Sure. Patrick?
Here.
Earl?
Here.
Dan?
Here.
Tom?
Here.
Chris? Leslie? Here. Joel?
Here.
Beverly? Alex?
Here.
Zach?
Here.
Oh,
right,
here?
good.
Zach? Okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
surprise here. I got you guys.
Are you online, Zach? Oh yeah, there you are.
Yeah, yep.
Thanks, man. All right. First order of business is approval of the minutes from our February 25th regular meeting. Those are tab 1 of your board books, board members. Anybody have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Great. Dan seconded. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any recusals? Any abstentions? Hearing none, the motion passes. All right, Michael, your turn.
Thanks for moving along. Spring is here. We got some winter maintenance to take care of. We got some playground issues we got to take care of over at the pool. Our hope is this month to get this storage trailer or box container out. We're just starting to gear up for cleaning up from the winter. Other than that, everything's moving right along.
Great.
Are there any plans? I know you've got a bunch of trees over there on the side by Davies. Are you planning to take that stuff away, or you're just gonna let it sit? If you let it sit, it's fine.
It'll be worked over, you mean, behind the tennis,
Yeah,
pickleball courts in there? Yeah, it'll be worked around. We have, the only thing that's happened to us is, I gotta watch what's going over there, because there's an eagle's nest over there. He decided to move from the island where they used to be over into one of those dead trees over there, so. Gotta kind of work easy around him for a little bit, so that's gonna hamper some stuff, but as we hit low spots, Joel will
We'll take that.
will
Gotcha.
work on things, and that probably won't gear up until we get summer help on in May.
Hey, Michael, I have a question. This is actually Alana. I appreciate you throwing it out. This is piggybacking off of her email regarding the outdoor courts. The specific, like backboards, the rims, they're in horrible shape. Is that on the roadmap to get resolved, or is that on your list?
Yeah, it's in the beginning of the roadmap.
All right, thank you, sir.
We have new stanchions, new poles. We have to get Ketchum in here to order a base in for them, but yes, they are
Thank
on
you, sir.
the. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. And I know we're going to hear, or board members, you'll see in the committee reports that the community spring cleanup is being planned as well. No date for it, but that'll be planned. So, all right, cool. Anything else for Michael? Are we good?
We're good.
All right,
Sorry, one more thing, Patrick. The next probably workshop we have, I should have the estimates on the parking lot lights that we had discussed about, as well as over by the dog park.
But you just put a light over there too. Good
In
idea.
case your dog has to pee, you can see what he's doing.
That's true.
Okay.
All right, very considerate. Very considerate. You're laughing about
right.
it. There was a guy with his lights shining into the thing.
Oh, yeah.
Was he peeing?
So yeah, at our next board workshop, we can talk about that issue and any other. I know there were paving related issues and that sort of stuff that we had left to cover, I thought, with regard to the entertaining, but we'll deal with that at our next board workshop. Okay. All right, moving on to the financial review. This tab two of your board members, with the financials from February 2024. Dan?
All right, so, income was, 34,472, above budgeted figures of 15,380. Mostly attributed from late fees and interest of 7,000. One clerical thing I wanted to work with Michael on, it shows that the doubtful income dues last month was 0, and I know that it looks like we probably keep that at 0 until the end of the year, so not sure if we want to keep it that way, because it could adjust our income as the year goes on, but something I'll work with Michael on. Overall expenses were pretty consistent with budget for the month in most categories. But we were under $203,000 because of our, budget allotting for the insurance wasn't paid until March due to the changes in our insurance policies. So when you figure that $224,000 for the insurance payment in, it puts us about $8,000 over budget overall expenses for the year, which is much less than what we were probably expecting, considering the 40% increase in insurance. So hopefully we'll continue to work on that and find creative ways of getting us back in line for the year. Regarding the 2023 financials, the accountant's expecting to have those unaudited to me by the end of the week. Next week or this week, depending on what you consider. Typically begin working on the actual audit once our taxes are done, so we'll get those going. Regarding the assessment and spend on the project, scheduled to have a meeting with Michael on Thursday. We should be able to have some breakdowns on our spending thereafter. That's pretty much it.
When did you
Thanks.
say you're- Michael?
Thursday.
Any questions for Dan? All right, if not, could I get a motion to approve the February 2024 financials?
Hold on a second, I think I had a question on something.
Okay.
MDH payables, who is Christina LaFura?
That's the,
She's an exercise. He teaches one of the classes.
Oh, okay, all right. And what is DNZ Construction of New York? Who's that and what do they do?
It's the person that's been on there for about a year.
and change.
That's the guy who take his, building, D&Z
Oh,
Construction. That's for,
The pool house.
construction for the pool house. It's the
Oh,
final
okay.
payment.
Yeah,
Final payment?
yeah, there's things that he has to finish before we can give that.
Okay, all right, that's it. Don't we have like an, membership to some type of, like in Pennsylvania, they have the, CI, which is like Community Institute of Association. Do we have any memberships in New York that we?
Hudson Valley chapter.
Yeah.
We're a member of the Hudson Valley chapter of CAI.
Okay, okay,
If you would like, when they send a newsletter, I could.
that would be lovely.
Send
Yes,
that.
thank you, I appreciate that.
Okay. Motion to approve?
I
Make a motion. Or Leslie.
Leslie motions, Zach seconds. Thanks, Zach. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any opposed? Any recusals, any abstentions? Hearing none, the motion passes. All right, Alan? We're up to our water company update now, folks.
Thanks, right there, if you want.
I guess. Good morning, everybody.
Hello, Alan?
We had a meeting of the water company this past Thursday. Patrick and Leslie attended. Then you guys came to hang out with us. Couple of things. Our water tank has been approved. The question, of course, is when we build it, and the answer is when we can pay for it. It'd be the Department of Health approved it, they're the ones looking for us to do it. We're looking at loans, grants, whatever we can do to get it, paid for. Talking to the PSC, they know it's mandated, we have to do it quick. So once we submit that, so we can get a payment, out to people to pay for it, they'll help us with that. As for the PSC rate case, we received a letter a couple of weeks ago that they were pushing our case back to September, which didn't really fly, so, Michael and our attorney Al Natoli got on them. And it's been moved up to July. Michael's been giving them whatever information they need as much as we can, so hopefully it'll be before July. And anything else, Michael, or?
No, you did very well.
Oh, thank you. All right, thanks.
Any estimated cost on the tower?
It's 1.6.
1.6.
What was the rate case increase?
Well, we asked for 28%. What we get.
That's most of it, most of those increases you're gonna see because of, utility costs and chemical costs rising.
Do you have to do any work to the plant itself when you do this tower? or-
That's all included.
All of it, that was all in?
Yeah, that 1.6 is, all inclusive, that's a 650,000 gallon tank. With, upgrades to the plant as well, which brings it up to. Well, it was just approved, it took 4 years, so it's, today's standards are close to today's
Is
standards.
there still a partnership for a grant on that? I know we were talking about it.
Yeah,
A lot of, and with the grants and stuff, guys, a lot of times it's the grants is, the work is pre-done and then you get afterwards, so we'll probably end
A
up,
reimbursement.
right. You know, we'll probably end up looking for private funding to start out. So that's stuff we have to play out, work out.
engineered it, they're looking to write it for us also.
Grant writers, we have a couple of grant writers involved in looking for grants as well through the USDA, the state. So we're looking.
At the meeting, I asked about Earl's development, where they were getting the water from. And Michael said that he didn't know because they haven't asked for any access to our water. Do you know anything about that?
No. They've asked for water. That's all in the engineering parts of it.
Right.
They've asked for water. So what happens now
So you
is
didn't know because they haven't asked for water.
I don't think I said they didn't ask. We didn't get to, don't forget you were on my phone too. So, they've asked for water. Now it gets engineered. Now we go, our engineers work with their engineers and the Department of Health to see where we at and what we can do.
Okay,
But they are in part of our, water district.
okay.
So it'd be maybe 27 new customers,
Okay.
28, 28.
28 new
Okay.
customers.
Okay.
So that's all in the engineering.
And I'm here, so there's clarity. MJS will be working with Delaware Engineering. They have to submit two things. They have to submit a water plan. That water plan has to be reviewed and approved by Mike Messenger, the superintendent for the Town of Thompson Sewage and Water Department. Second, the water plan has to be submitted to the Department of Health. In parallel to submitting it to the Department of Health, Delaware Engineering, which is the incumbent engineering firm on behalf of the Lake Louise Marie Emerald Green Water District, will also be reviewing and approving that water plan. Once that water plan is reviewed internally by Delaware Engineering, that water plan then will be reviewed by the Department of Health to ensure it meets the standard from a safety perspective. Only if the Delaware engineering firm approves the water plan can it be moved forward. They have to make sure that they have the capacity and that we're tying into the current water system. To Dan's point, there will be 28 new customers, metered just like every other home or every home should be in Emerald Green to increase quote unquote money to the bottom line. That was what was encouraged by the Town of Thompson Planning Board. Drilling wells into that property would negatively impact not just the water table for Emerald Green, but also impact the water table for Wolf Lake. And I promised Wolf Lake that I would not do that. Ergo, had some conversations preliminarily with the folks over at the water department, brief conversation with Michael and the town engineer. That would be the most prudent for everyone. And then it also allows me to ensure that I can positively impact Emerald Green, which is where I reside.
Thanks for that, Earl. Any other questions for Alan? All right, let's go on to our committee. Thank you, Alan. Let's go on to our committee reports. Just a reminder for the committee chairs or co-chairs, if you can keep your verbal reports to the community short, maybe a minute or so, because in your board books, board members are the written reports of the committee meetings. And of course, committee meetings are open to the public, so everybody should know what's going on in those anyway, if you're interested in those topics and have attended. First up is the Lakes Committee. Joel or
Okay.
Tom?
We had a meeting on 3/7, there was approximately 15 people that attended. Earl was the first speaker, he explained what his plan was with Treasure Lake and the permitting process and stuff, so we will see how that goes. Margaret spoke about the C-SLAP program that the applications are in, and we're gonna be having training probably at our pool house sometime in the spring. Let's see, we spoke about the stocking of the lakes. Marcy Wild brought up a few points that I've attached, I'm not gonna go over, but one of the things was the egg addling. When will that be done and who's doing it and all other good stuff, so.
That usually, the egg addling is probably within the next few weeks, they'll be here as soon, and it goes with the weather when they're,
Right.
when they go, usually the end of March, beginning of April.
Okay, I have a friend that lives on White Lake, and what they did last year is they had a roundup for the geese, so he gave me the name of that person in the state, I think it's in the DEC or something, that does that,
So
so.
it's federal.
Federal, okay, well, he gave it
Yeah,
to me.
it's, we have all that information, we are not to that point.
Okay, okay,
There is, I know there's been some, I've seen them out on the lake. There's been from some Airbnbs flying in, taking a break and then taking off a couple of days later after they rest.
By the way, he's joking about Airbnbs, just so everybody knows.
Airbnbs, for the geese,
Right.
stopping in to, take their rest on Treasure, Davies and Lake Louise Marie. Pretty much they take off. You know, when we do see the increase in geese in the summertime, and there is a lot around here, that's usually when they're molting. And they're just the same type of thing, they're just flying along and we can't fly anymore and we have to stop here to molt.
Right.
But since, I think we did, the last time we did the geese roundup, that made it 99, 2000 in there, you remember? It's, we did that, they went, we did a roundup, there was like 250, 260 geese we have gotten.
really,
They went to a food kitchen, I think.
Spider Martin said she counted 139 geese, so. you were.
Right, they're probably just resting, and taking off.
They're on your property, you could kill up to 12 of them.
Really?
That's what I was told by DEC.
Wow.
That's federal, we have to, we actually go in and, our application, we have to submit back and forth where the nests are, where they find the nest. You're gonna concentrate a little bit harder this year
Right,
on Lake Louise Marine, but typically they don't like to hang out where there's activity.
Right.
But if somebody is kayaking around the lake and happen to see, a nest somewhere, that would be good to let us know, so we make sure we get that nest.
can they go on people's property?
They do, yes, they can go on people's property because they're a representative for us.
Okay, cool. And the last thing, she wanted to know when the dam, I guess, will be shut off, so the lake will rise.
Usually that's about April first.
April 1st, okay, so it's coming up.
Between the first and the 15th, we have to watch on the weather, keep an eye on the weather, see what's going on with the weather. It's, you know, depending on what the weather's doing.
Okay, cool. Then lastly, Earl, I sent you a thing I got on TikTok. I don't know if you were able to open it, but I think it'd be worthwhile if you could.
Yeah, I saw it. I'm not an engineer. I sent it over to two guys. I'm just trying to make sure I get the application back. And whatever equipment they use, they have to get it approved by the DEC. So I can't get involved in that. But thank you, sir. Appreciate you, bro.
Joel, anything on Helping Hands or?
Helping Hands, I'm gonna basically defunct type of thing, like.
Yeah,
If
no more helping hands. They're not helping.
a project comes up, I can get a couple guys together to help you guys out, and we're just gonna leave it like that, so it'll make life
Okay,
easier.
we'll make it an ad hoc thing. I'll take it off the agenda then. That makes sense. All right, for the bylaws committee, we had a meeting this past Tuesday. We were tasked with talking about coming up with amended bylaws language to propose to the community to vote on to carry out the transfer fee proposal, the amendment of the transfer fee structure as approved by the Strategic Planning and Finance Committee. We talked about the language. We were unable to come to an agreement on the language, so we'll figure out what comes next, but that's it for bylaws. Earl, on oversight, you think you said your next meeting is the 19th, so folks look
Yeah.
out for that. Strategic planning, we did not have a meeting, and for events and welcoming, they did have looks like a pretty robust meeting. I'll let Alana summarize it, but the full notes are at your board book at tab 5, board members.
Just some things that are coming up. We are gonna do the spring cleanup in April. We're looking at either one of the first 2 Sundays, the 14th, I'm sorry, the 7th or the 14th right now. You will get a notice to sign up for that. We gave our committee essentially homework for April, which is we're trying to get the calendar out to the community, the spring summer calendar. We've already identified the events that we're keeping from last year. And if anybody wants to join the April meeting with any ideas, that's fine for us, but we hope to have that out to the community by the beginning of May. The
Did
official summer calendar.
Mark Cannon get in touch with you, because we're trying to do a.
The fishing derby, he
Yeah.
told me about it. I
Yeah.
would reach out to him.
Okay,
But it's on the calendar temporarily.
got it.
All right. Anything for Alana? Okay, that's it for our committee meetings. Our next regular meeting is going to be the 21st of April. So we're at the end of our regular meeting. If folks from the community want to, I don't know if there's anybody in the room. That's right, Joel, we are moving. Are there any folks in the room?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Hearing none, well, thanks, Alan. Anybody online, if you want to be heard, you can just raise your hand or even just unmute and go ahead and ask a question. Okay, hearing none. Thanks, everybody.
Wait, Patrick, my hand's up. It's Marcy Wild.
Oh, okay. Hey, Marcy.
Yeah, hi. A couple of things, please. For the increase of 40% in our insurance,
Mhm.
was that because we had claims, or, I mean, have we put it out to bid to see if we can get better rates? What's the story behind that?
It is because we have claims. It's also because of market conditions, and everybody's insurance rates are just increasing, particularly for homeowner communities like ours. And of course, when you say put it out to bid, I mean, we have a broker every single year who puts our renewal package out and goes out and does what brokers do in the commercial insurance world, which is to take it to various underwriters and what they call markets and get bids. We have a new broker in place this year. They took it out to bid, but the risk is the risk. So,
Okay, thank you. I have a couple more. What is the status and the finances of the 90 Emerald House that I see is pending?
there
What-
is a contract, a signed contract for sale. Beyond that, we're just finishing the process. So we'll know more about the finances once once we have the closing date and the closing numbers. So
Does
we'll
it-
have exact amount of, for example, there's a lien by the prior owner's mortgage bank. We don't know the exact amount. We have a pretty good estimate, but we don't know the exact amount. We don't know all the closing costs and all of that. So the finances still have to be worked out once we get a closing statement.
Thanks. And that will be, the community will be told or be able to learn what those numbers are when
Yeah,
that
sure.
happens?
It will be in the financials. We're not going to publish a
right.
closing statement.
Got it. Thank you. And last one, I suggest for the egg addling, I mean, if I saw somebody wandering on my backyard, I would probably call the police. So maybe notification to the community that, you know, somebody will be there. They'll have an official, whatever they have, a badge, a uniform, something. So that, because 90, I'm going to guess at this number, but probably 97% of our lake is all private property. And so, you know, if there are goose nests on the property around the lake, they're going to be on somebody's property. So I think if that's gonna happen and it's gonna happen effectively, that people would need to know, don't be alarmed and they'll be walking and this is what they're doing. So,
Okay, we'll talk with Michael about the proper protocol and figure it out.
great. All right, thank you.
Thanks. Anybody else? Oh, Zach, was that you? Nope.
No.
Okay. All right, seeing no other hands. Thanks, everybody. We have a very short executive session, board members. I'm going to ask that we end the recording, that any members of the public who are in the room and or online, if you'd exit the meeting while the board can have our quick executive session, I'd appreciate it.
Thanks, Alan.
Thanks, everybody.